Hi, my name is Cynthia Marks. I head up the Holistic Psychoanalysis Foundation established by my late husband, Dr. Bernard Bale. Welcome to And Now Love. Hi. Today we welcome Lauren Dolinsky. Lauren is a licensed psychotherapist with a practice in Los Angeles. She is just weeks away from receiving her doctorate, quite an achievement. Lauren is an avid believer in Dr. Bale's work. So we have so much to talk about.
We do.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited. I don't think we're going to have enough time, so let's see what we can do.
We'll see what we can cover.
So the first thing is, how did you come to find Dr. Bale?
Yeah. Well, I hadn't heard about him like most people. I mean, it's still such a niche thing, and I really hope that this helps get it out there.
Oh man, that's what we want.
Yes. So I'll give you the whole background of just my winding road to get there.
Yes, please.
Well, to start, I was really raised in the medical model of understanding all of this in the mind and everything. My father was a psychiatrist.
Oh.
Yeah. He was, like many psychiatrists, a big believer in medications, right? And that kind of gave the answer to the problems. And if we could get the right diagnosis and fit it with the right med, then, we're going. And it wasn't that, I mean, he believed in therapy too, but it was kind of secondary.
So in that, once you're properly medicated, you can seemingly live a life.
It looks good. Yeah.
Right.
You look okay.
Right.
You look okay. What you're really doing, right, is telling that person to kind of shush their feelings.
Yeah.
Right? You're kind of shutting them up a little bit. And nothing against these kinds of medications. There's a time and a place for them, and sometimes they help to get over something. But what we see, fast forwarding a little bit in this work, right, is that there's actually a better way. There's better answers than just here's the med. So that path didn't work for me. I walked that road for a long time. And
You mean you were trying to establish a practice with that methodology?
Well, this was before I actually started working in this way. So this is more like me for myself, getting help for myself and whatever I needed help with in my life. And that was sort of like, well, that's the answer. This is what we do.
Right. You find this medication and then you're going to be fine.
Find the med, maybe you talk a little bit in therapy about whatever's going on, but that's not really the thing. Right?
Yeah.
So I started taking my own therapy journey a little more seriously, and I wanted something different. So I had no idea about this work, and it just so happened that the first therapist, who was lovely, who I worked with, she did spiritual psychology. And she was wonderful, and I think she really gave me the experience of that kind of unconditional positive regard, just a really loving person.
I see. And could you just, for a moment, a little description of what spiritual psychology might be?
It's looking at things through a spiritual lens. It's really kind of just introducing the idea that there is sort of a loving spiritual presence in one's life, and that can be really healing, to lean on that as a resource.
Right, because you might always feel like you're held and in a safe place.
You're held, you're in a safe place, and I think spiritual psychology leans a lot on self-compassion, self-forgiveness, understanding that there's like this loving spiritual presence in one's life, and that's lovely.
It is, and that's a lot of what happens in religion.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly, exactly. The dilemma with it for me is it doesn't go terribly deep. They're not looking at the unconscious. It's not getting like into the nitty gritty of your personal life and your personal problems, but it's like it's a very loving, welcoming, warm approach to things.
So easy to talk about everything.
Easy to talk about everything. You're not going super deep, and it's a lot of self-love, but when you haven't gone into the darkest places, for me, the answer in the long run, but it did kind of get me a little more on the path.
Okay.
And then that's when I also I was clear that I wanted to provide psychotherapy. So I was going to, go to school and get licensed and start working and doing all of that. So because of that first experience, My first master's program, I actually started in a spiritual psychology school. But you know, when they were teaching, and they're kind of teaching these levels of consciousness, when they would get to the unconscious, they would go, we don't go there though. It's unconscious for a reason.
Ah.
And they'd kind of leave it. And it always just, I ended up transferring to a
Right. What
different
if they'd
program
named
and finishing
something
a
else
master's
that wasn't
somewhere
an
else. And then that one had a more
Right.
Jungian approach. And the beautiful thing about the Jungians, they love dreams, right? They love bringing the dreams. So I think that I had always been interested in dreams, but then studying in that way, really I was like, okay, there's something to the dream. The Jungian, I guess, is like as a treatment modality, because it's such a rich and beautiful tradition. For me, the piece that was missing there, again, is that deeply personal piece, because they tend to go so archetypal, amplify things out into the collective, like the collective unconscious, which that can be really great. And it also gives people like a sense that they have a place in like this whole expansive history of mankind. And plus they're so great with symbols, and you start to kind of get into the abstract in the dream world. But again, it's missing that personal. So it just so happened that as I was doing that program, the person who I was seeing for my own therapy, it happened to be that they were in treatment with Dr. Bale.
Oh.
So
So just this stroke of...
it was really a stroke of fortune. I was not consciously aware of his work at that time.
And so did this person bring forth his work in terms of the practice, or just in terms of sharing knowledge with you?
A little bit of both. I was talking to this person for years before there was a direct communication of, you know what, why don't you take a look at Dr. Bale's book? Here, it was actually because I had a dream.
Oh.
Yeah, I brought in a dream where that person was playing the piano, a concert piano, and they were like playing brilliantly. It was this beautiful music. And that person was kind enough to interpret it as, oh, that's actually Dr. Bale. So then I was like, okay, and then I go down my rabbit hole of reading everything.
Yeah, how did this man come into my dream? I don't even know who he is.
Right.
That's pretty wild.
Right.
And what led that person to say, that's Dr. Bale?
I think they probably just had a knowing. Sometimes with a dream,
Just
like
have a
that,
knowing?
you just have a knowing. You have an intuitive sense, and you know. I think they knew too that they were a little newer to the work, and the person who was playing masterfully was Dr. Bale.
Yeah,
right?
behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And
wow, that's pretty amazing. That's a hard thing to really absorb. But someone in your position, you've been doing this a long time, when you say sometimes you just know it, you just kind of into it, that comes over time of listening to lots and lots of dreams, right?
I don't know how you do this work without a really strong sense of intuition, right? It really guides you. And when you've been listening to dreams for long enough, sometimes, I mean, and we can get into the nitty gritty of everything, but
Yeah.
because sometimes the dreams will come in and you're like, what can I even hold on to here?
Right, right.
But sometimes you do have a very clear sense that, you know, you really can feel it.
You as the therapist.
As a therapist, yes, I can really feel it. I can really feel when something's happening. And then I go from there, and I'm still asking all my questions and want to see where the person's mind is going. But yeah, it's sometimes you just get a sense. So I have a feeling that's what happened in that session.
So then you were introduced to Dr. Bale. So
yes.
What sparked you to want to participate in his world? What led you to say, oh, this is it?
Well, once I started really diving into the theory and learning about imprinting and everything, and plus, here's the thing, he also brings in the spiritual piece.
He does.
And so there's the term holistic. You said you run that. It's holistic psychology. It's holistic psychoanalysis. It brings in everything. And for me, it was such a relief finally that the really, really personal that I think was missed, what has kind of like can just fly under the radar, and we can chase symptoms down, and we can talk from the perspective of one's conscious mind till we're blue in the face, right? And tell the stories that we know with our conscious mind again and again and again. But we can get kind of lost doing that. Sometimes people go, God, I've talked about this for years.
And it's still there. I'm still talking about the same thing.
I'm still talking about it. Nothing's changed.
Even Dr. Bale said that in his own therapy.
Exactly. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So this was different though, because then once all the connections are made and you have the dream guiding a treatment in this way, different from other approaches I've had with dream work. Because once I got into dreams, I tried different kinds of like lenses of looking at a dream and ways of looking at a dream. And there's so many out there. But this was different and it felt different to me.
And that's it, I think, right? It's that feeling. I mean, there's so many, as you say, interesting paths you can go down if you're thinking, okay, I want to figure out what makes dreams important. And you can check off all these things and eventually something will make you go,
Yes.
and I think that is Dr. Bale's work.
That's exactly right. And it is so feeling driven.
Oh.
Like you need that piece.
Yeah.
You need that piece to guide you. It's not so many, especially in the tradition of working with dreams, and you start with the Freudians and the Jungians too. It's so intellectual, right? And it's very stimulating and it's interesting.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah, and you can really go places with it in the mind. But once you drop into the heart, and once you bring the feeling in, and once you are looking at the emotional story that comes out in the dreams, it's a game changer. So I knew there was something there. Yeah, so then I just kept on that path.
I've noticed in speaking about this work with people in a larger audience, so there was the documentary about Dr. Bale and Now Love, and after the screening, some people would seem to have caught on to something just in that little brief moment of trying to describe the work, and you would almost be like, wait a minute, there's something, I got to catch that thing. It's like, I feel something I've never felt before. And they didn't know what to do with it.
Yes.
And I don't know what they did with it. I'd be curious to know, but that led me to believe that this is something that can apply to lay people like myself. You know, that there is a way to access this, hopefully.
Yes.
It might be hard without being able to have the fabulous you as a therapist.
Okay, you mean on your own when you're not in this kind of treatment?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Maybe it'll be harder for us. Maybe.
Look, it's a perfect world. You have a good guide,
right?
Who can take you. But for those who don't yet, or just don't have access to it, just start to get really curious about what you're dreaming. Right, because that's really the gold of this work. It's the idea that there is an imprint in your unconscious and it's buried deep down in there and it's creating a lot of trouble in your life.
Yeah, havoc,
right? And it's sort of like this transmitter, like it's emitting a radio frequency behind the scenes at all time, magnetizing people and experiences and everything that happens in your life to reinforce the lies and the bullshit that it's telling you about yourself, right?
That you think are you.
But this is just my life and this is how it is.
Yeah, there's no other choice.
Right, exactly. Inevitable.
Right.
Inevitable.
Meanwhile, I don't feel very satisfied.
Meanwhile, things are a mess.
Yeah.
So, first of all, just knowing that, but then knowing the way to access that and start to diminish the power of this awful thing is by following dreams. I mean, it's such an elegant system.
It is, and it's all right there for each of us, you know, every night of our lives.
Exactly. So if you don't have access to a therapist who works in this way, just start writing down your dreams. Just start writing down your dreams. See what you see. Just get really curious. Just start thinking about the things in your life, the things that have been troubling you, whatever's on your mind, and see what you see in your dreams. Just get curious, right? That's one of the things I notice in providing this work is people, especially as they're just starting to do this treatment, one of the byproducts of it is they have like an awakened curiosity about their own lives.
Yeah.
Right? And about the people around them. They go, I'm just asking more questions.
Right. And how did this person end up in my life?
Right.
Yeah, do I want them there? Or do you just imagine that they're supposed to be there?
Yeah. And it builds connection too, because they get curious about the people around them. So they're asking better questions.
Sure.
And the relationships are getting a little deeper.
Would you say that something as simple as, let's say, I'm writing down my dreams and I find that every third dream I have this idea that I'm sitting in the sunshine eating an avocado with a spoon. If I write that down and start to think about what that means.
Yeah.
Maybe an avocado isn't an avocado.
Right.
But will I start to think about it or imagine it or dissect it enough to where I reach a place where I feel something about that? Like, oh my gosh, that avocado
maybe.
is is that what happens in a way in therapy? Like you start to think about a part of a dream and figure out what that really becomes, what you hone it down to the place where the person can say to you, oh yeah, I really feel that.
Yeah, usually we get asked lots of questions about it. I want to hear all their associations, and if I sometimes the person will come to their own conclusion about it, but if I have a strong sense too, especially with my background of understanding a lot of the way the mind works,
which would be why we're coming to you.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully I can provide something, but and if I can communicate it clearly enough, and if it's right, people tend to feel, they go, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you could say something and they might go, I'm
Right.
close. And then eventually they'll say, that's it.
That's it. But I mean, it's so tricky because sometimes if it is spot on and they're going, we have to see, are they defended against it? Is there something they're not wanting to hear yet?
Wow.
There's so many different things. Or maybe I'm missing the mark and we need to tighten it up a little bit. And the good news is, let's say we're wrestling with a particular dream. Let's see what your next dreams say. Like, one of the great things about this work is, like, even if we haven't gotten right to the bottom of whatever the dream you're telling me is, you're going to keep dreaming and it's going to keep us on track.
I see.
Right? The dreams kind of provide their own supervision. Mm-hmm. They provide their own pathway and their own guidance, and they'll go, well, no, this is what I want to work on. This is what I want to look at. And a lot of times it will confirm things we've been talking about, and we go, okay, there it is. Mm-hmm. There it is. So it's providing constant guidance and calibration toward whatever the truths about your life that your mind is wanting to look at and wrestle with are.
I mean, I'm totally on board with all of this, but most of us, I think, are like, how could that possibly be? I mean, I just dreamt about these new shoes and I bought new shoes.
Right.
And we, I think, so much want it to be just super clean, you know?
Yes.
Is that because in the unconscious we're trying to protect the status quo, even if the status quo is not really okay?
Yeah, look, because what you're dealing with in the deepest sense, let's say you really follow the pathway of this work in that very brave way where you're getting into the heart of darkness of what we're looking at, that, first of all, is terrifying, painful, and what Dr. Bale understood is that it's really about survival. It is so primitive. So when you start to monkey with that and threaten taking it away, having it be known. I mean, first of all, forget taking it away. Just having it be known, revealing it, that is like an absolutely not, because the mind thinks that it needs that to survive.
Amazing. So then we, in a way, set ourselves up to protect that. Yes. As Dr. Bale would have said, the internal saboteur.
Yes, you have an internal saboteur that by all costs is going to make sure that we're not monkeying with the imprint, that it just stays in place and it's doing what it does, and it does not want it known, it doesn't want its power diminished, it doesn't want it changed.
So the saboteur is tricky.
Yeah.
So you may be presented with a situation that seems super happy, like there's this great bed of roses and you just want to go lay down in it.
Yeah.
But it's not what it seems.
Yes.
This is so much to try and figure out.
And it takes time, right? The thing is, like, the theory itself about the idea that there is an imprint and you have this saboteur that's protecting it and the way that it's transmitted and then what happens in your life, that part is simple. But the getting in there and actually doing the work is much more complex and really keeps us on our toes, because every single person is so different.
Yeah.
It's so different. And yeah, what you're saying is right. And there are so many ways that the person's internal saboteur is going to do what it can to throw you off the scent.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, it gets complicated. The treatment gets complicated.
what would you hope people would come away with through this treatment? What ends up being the end goal, let's say?
Well, that's also case by case, whatever a person wants, really. For me, I would want people to know that there is hope. When we talk about this work, sometimes it starts sounding really grim because this thing is, it's tricky, right? It's hard, it's disguised, it's hidden. It takes a lot of work to get there, but there is another side. What was so important for me in this is that there was hope and that real transformation, real change is possible. A real restructuring. I like to think of it as the difference between a lot of therapies will go in and kind of rearrange the furniture a little bit, whereas here we have like a complete remodel. You know?
Right.
It's a big difference.
It is. And well, you went through this therapy yourself before you started treating patients with this therapy.
100%. I would never ask someone who comes to see me to go somewhere I haven't already been.
I see. That is probably part of your profession anyway, I guess.
For different degrees, for different people, but for me, that's so important.
Yeah. Well, how can you speak to it?
Well, exactly. To be able to provide this work, I have to be pretty proficient in the language of the unconscious and my own unconscious terrain and landscape and what that looks like and how it presents. And that is something I take so seriously. And so that when somebody comes to me, I think their unconscious can feel that I get it and that I know. And theirs will look completely different. And it will take me some time to get my bearings into what's happening in their mind and find our way. But, you know, we have that foundation, at least for me, of that I've been doing this a long time and I get the language. And you can bring me your scariest, most terrifying, bananas out there, confusing, whatever it is, material, and it's okay. It's okay. It's not going to scare me away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just hearing all of this, I think even for a layperson who hasn't begun to think about their dreams, kind of takes the edge off.
Yeah.
Like the whole idea is so no.
Right.
And hearing that it's not all big and scary or doom, that you can get through it, and
you can get through it, and along the way, even before, because it's also not linear. I mean, in the big picture, in a way, you can track the progress and go, okay, there's progress. But when you're in it and you're in the trenches, it's kind of all over the place. So even as it's hard and terrifying and scary and whatever's coming up, you can also still have really beautiful dreams. All the good stuff can still come through too. And that's one of my favorite things about this work, and what Dr. Bale knew is it's also a pathway to the divine.
Right.
You know, and the gold, just the gold of life. It's everything. I mean, the unconscious contains everything. It's so full spectrum, multidimensional, like we can't even wrap our little minds around it.
Not at all.
So if we are blessed enough to remember a dream, let's not waste it.
Right.
Let's not waste it. Let's think about it. Let's talk about it.
And I like what you said as a reminder that, you know, some dreams are just absolutely delightful.
Yes.
And give you some great positive information.
Yes.
I think that's a little boost for being able to deal with the ones that are sort of more frightening, perhaps.
Exactly. And you will get that help along the way. It is not just fire and brimstone.
Yeah. And is that the unconscious trying to help us manage this, in that, okay, I can't just scare you all the time?
Yes, I would say so. I would say that it's there to help, right? It's always there to help. And I always feel too, you're never going to be given a dream you're not ready to hear. You know,
even though some of them you wake up and go, oh my God.
Yeah, you might wake up in tears or terrified or paralyzed. Common for people to have the sleep paralysis. I mean, there is some scary stuff in there. But if you're dreaming it, you're ready to start talking about it and taking a look and starting to understand what the message is.
Well, would you have a dream that you might be able to share with us that we could kind of see how this comes about? You can say no.
I'll have to think about that. The dreams that I was going to share today were more, they don't really have advanced interpretation, so I might have to think about that and get back to you. I wanted to just share a couple gems that showed some of the good stuff, and some of, for me, too, what was confirmation about doing this work.
I would love that.
Yeah, being in this work. So to go back a little bit, when I started taking this work more seriously and doing it myself, eventually I was fortunate enough to be supervised by Dr. Bale. I would come in, I'd have a verbatim, which is basically just a word-for-word transcript of a session, and I'm analog, so I'd have it all written and out. And I would come in, and I'd always include a session where I felt it to be a particularly challenging dream, and I needed his guidance with it.
So supervision means that you're going to, let's say, Dr. Bale, to talk about a session with one of your patients.
Correct. He was already in his later 90s at that point. So when I first went, I was like, I mean, is he going to be really sharp and
Is he going to even hear me?
Is he even going to hear me? How is this going to go? And oh my gosh, that man and his diamond mind, the way he could wield a sword of truth, it would just blow your hair back, the way he could talk about a dream and what he would see.
Yes.
It was stunning.
You almost can't put words to it.
No, it's stunning. Blew my mind. A dream I had while after doing this for a while was that he was teaching a class, he was the teacher, and there was a little bit more to the dream. But at one point when he was gonna like make his big point, he goes and he turns up a stereo and it basically turns into a dance party. And it's that song, Higher Love by Steve Winwood.
Oh my gosh.
And isn't that what he was all about? It's a higher love.
So were you able to share this with Dr. Bale?
You know, I don't think I got a chance to tell him directly about it.
It would have brought him to tears.
Yeah.
But what a dream to be in a classroom that becomes this fantastic dance party with this song.
And it's all about a higher love.
Oh.
That's what's possible in this work that I haven't seen in other modalities. And it's not that there's not good things in other modalities. Of course there are. This work goes so deep in a way I haven't experienced before. But in that deep darkness, it's both. Right? It also goes to the purest love that I've ever experienced.
What do you think is different about you now? How did this work affect you?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, for one, and I would say this is one of the best parts about it for anybody, I know myself so much better now than I did before. I have such a better understanding of my own mind and my history and how everything that I've been through in my life, how it's impacted me. And the things that used to give me a lot of trouble, it's not that I have no problems in my life. Of course, I'm human. I'm human and life is gonna keep happening. It's just when it does, I know myself a little better. I have more grace. I think an openness and a calmness in my own life. Like you said, it's hard to describe. The changes in there, it feels almost subtle as it's happening. It's hard to pinpoint. And then I came out of this session and I was a new person.
Right.
Right? It's this sort of tricky thing that happens over time, and it's hard to even see the progress when you're in it. Over time, you come out of it and you just notice that things are different in your life, right? That you're different in your life. I'm different in my life.
And so you have different people in your life, or the people you have in your life, you appreciate them differently, perhaps.
That's right. That's right.
I didn't think this when I was sort of going through this transition that you're describing, but afterwards I did. And I think in an unconscious way, part of the struggle was not knowing what to do with that hole that was left when I took all of the trash out of that hole.
Yeah.
Now there's this vacancy.
Right.
So that's scary.
That's scary.
Is something worse going in there? Is something better going in there? Am I just emptier than I used to be?
Right.
Big deal.
That's a big deal. And I see that in treatment a lot when people are on the brink of letting something go in a deep way, not just like mentally, like I need to let this go and I need to change this. And I have these stories that most people know they have certain stories about themselves that aren't helpful or limiting beliefs or whatever. But when you're getting in there and doing it at that level in the dreams and looking at the unconscious, and you see people on the brink of an enormous change, that is terrifying. Because like you said, there's going to be a void. First of all, you confused that for love.
Sure.
For a long time.
Right.
And it wasn't.
No. It's just all you knew, and that was your comfort zone.
What are you going to do without it?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Exactly.
And that's the exciting part. It's terrifying, but exciting, right? And you see people all of a sudden have more space in their lives, and they might take up new things or just have new thoughts that they've never had, or just new experiences. There's just more space.
Have you ever met anyone or worked with anyone who didn't have that experience, who found something terrible fell into that space?
It's a good question. What we're describing is like so much easier said than done. Like it's not, it's a real process to get there. So I've certainly seen where it might look like there's a release of something, but what they're really doing is going back to it. Right?
Because that was comfortable.
It's got such a pull. It's so hard to really let go of. And again, it's not like this one act of you just let it go, dream by dream, right? Piece by piece, interpretation by interpretation. You're releasing more and more and more and more. But for some people, it's very hard because there's still so much confusion about what that really is and its function in their lives. For whatever reason, because of their own personal story and personal history, they have such an allegiance to it.
Yes.
And most of us do, by the way, when we get started in this, we have a very powerful allegiance because it's also a representation of our parent, it's mom, it's dad, it's our whole lineage.
Everything's good. I've had the best upbringing.
Right, and that's the thing is we get a lot of people who, it's not like everyone I see has some really profound abusive history where, where it's obvious. There are some people where they speak kindly about their parents, they think they had a good childhood. It will surprise people sometimes to see how much garbage there still is in there. And it's not that they were wrong, that their parents were terrible people.
No, they were doing the best they could.
They were doing the best they could, but there was so much that their parents had in their unconscious that they were up against.
That then trickles down to their offspring.
The offspring inevitably will take it on because they want to help.
Yeah.
They want to help and they need to survive.
But meanwhile, while they think they're helping, well, it's an unconscious thing.
Right.
They're really not having any true impact on the unconscious of their mother or father.
That's right. That's right.
It's a fantasy.
It's a fantasy. It's a bit, because what is a fetus going to do? How is a fetus going to help? How's a baby going to help? Right? They can't really help, but it's what they've decided unconsciously they're going to do. And then that gets reenacted throughout the life. And this looks different for everybody, so I don't want to generalize too much, but oftentimes people go through this wanting to help in the wrong way.
But it is based on the unconscious needs or anxieties or stresses that those parents had. So so what I feel I need to protect is different than what you need to protect.
Exactly. And it prevents that person from getting to really be themselves because they've already contorted whoever they are organically and who they were supposed to be to take on this job that they're not even aware of. And so that's one of the things too, when you ask about a change in my life, I get to feel more like me.
Yeah.
Right.
I think through this work you reach a point where you truly know the you that is you.
Right.
Because that's sort of an untangible thing. Well, I am me. How would I know that this isn't the me?
Well, and then your dreams will tell you.
Yeah.
Right? And then we go, that looks more like mom. That looks more like dad.
So this higher love, when we get to the place where we're really who we are, is that love? And then is that love potentially that part of us that is connected to spirituality? Or is that spirituality?
Those are great questions. I mean, me personally, I think so. I think when we're our realest, truest self, we do have that divine spark inside of us that is pure love. And we feel it, and we have it to offer freely to the world, and very differently than maybe the way in servitude as we were under the imprint, you know, where we're just giving, but more from an empty cup.
Yeah, but we think that's love.
We think it's love. It might be martyrdom or self-sacrifice or all these other things. But when we're filled with that real love and as ourselves, that just feels different. And it's so natural, right? It's such a relief for people. People start to feel, even if they're not talking about it in this way, in whatever language they use, and they don't have to be spiritual. I have plenty of people in my practice who are not spiritual people. The relief still comes, right? And the knowledge still comes, and just the idea that they get to be more relaxed into who they are.
I mean, this is a lot of work to get to that place.
Yeah.
As you see progress being made, then you're more interested in working harder, let's say. But then when you get to this place where you are this true being, your own true self, I think it's, as you say, there's no work to that. It's just, I mean, it doesn't mean that you don't have to continue to work and that your dreams aren't still showing you some of the things that challenge you. That's probably lifelong.
Never ending. Never ending.
But the idea that you are this person, your real person, is sort of the easiest thing to be. It's much easier than having to live according to this imprint.
That's right.
Because it's not you.
Exactly. It feels so much more natural, and things around you just get a little bit easier. Life gets a little more pleasurable. It's much more organic. And again, it's not that there's not trouble. Of course, we're human, right? It's just a different relationship to it. And so that's one of the things too. For me, someone providing this work, I'm never going to stop diving into my own dreams and going as deep as I can all the time, because I feel it's a job requirement. It's a prerequisite for me providing this work and doing my due diligence.
It's your continuing ed.
It's my continuing ed forever. That's not to say that someone who comes to this treatment has to be in treatment forever. People can get to a point where they feel satisfied, like what you were describing, and feel they can just carry on in their lives.
Or their work with you is a big enough gift that they can, on some level, kind of continue the exploration on their own. They've had enough experience with you and seen the results. And can write down their dreams and say, okay, I see where I'm going here.
That's right. They're interested enough. It's not like you're just going to walk away from this. You realize that it almost becomes a way of life, because you do get constant guidance from that part of your mind. I mean, that's the beautiful part of the unconscious, is it is just a repository of truth. It's just going to keep telling you the truth. The hard part is figuring out how to read it, right? Because it can be so convoluted and so hidden and crazy and all the things that it can be. That's where Dr. Bale came in with the golden keys, right? He knew how to navigate.
Oh, he did. When people come to you, are they coming to you because they know specifically the way you work?
Most of the people who find me are word of mouth, and they've heard from someone else that I've worked with, and so they're curious about it and they want to give it a try. So that's the majority. Yeah, that's the majority. I mean, every once in a while there might be another pathway to find me, and it's really, we'll see if that person wants to stay and talk about their dreams. If someone's not looking for that, it can be like, what are you talking about? You know, and it's not one of the modalities du jour that people are more actively searching for. Although my hope would be that this is a little better known soon, and so that people,
ultimately, the idea is that we lay people like me would have enough information about this, or at the very least a super strong curiosity, and start to ask questions amongst our friends, or say, you know, what do you think about your dreams? What's happening with you? And maybe that person over there says it's just a silly reminder of what's going on every day, and the next person says, oh no, I know it means something else, I don't know what it is. And those of us who are fortunate enough to be able to have some amount of therapy might bring this back to our therapists who are not practicing as you are. But if it can happen in such a way that those therapists have to say, I hear you. What does this mean?
Yeah.
And they do some research. Ultimately, there should be a whole institute at the very least.
At the very least,
Where-
from your lips to God's ears.
Do you see how that happens?
Well, give me some time. Yeah, I don't know, but I think something has to happen because there is so much gold here that it's like untapped. And I'm a part of all these therapist communities online, people from all different backgrounds and not people who do this work. And I hear so much of therapists who are lost in their work, who there's an issue they're having with a certain patient and they don't know where to go. And so they're looking for help and they go, I don't know how to address this. I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what to do with this situation. And when you have the dreams, you don't have to feel lost. You always, always have a map. You have a roadmap. You have a North Star.
It's there.
Yeah, that you can come back to. Right? And it doesn't mean that there's not moments in the work, in the treatment where you go, ooh, okay, like it's getting muddy, it's getting murky. But so long as, and look, sometimes the dreams get shut down for a little while, and that's a part of it. And we have to look at why and what's going on.
There may be a period of time where someone says, I can't remember my dreams.
Oh, absolutely. It happens all the time. And that's fine.
Right.
That's fine. And it's by design.
Sure.
Once we understand why, and let their mind relax enough to know it's okay to go back there, the faucet turns back on. The internal saboteur, it'll shut the water off, it'll shut the faucet down because it goes, no, you're getting too close. You're getting too close, right? So there's plenty of times where there's no dreams and it's not a problem. There should be plenty to talk about. And the unconscious speaks in all kinds of ways, so it's not like we can't access the unconscious without a dream. Like it's everywhere all the time in everything.
So for example, where else would you find information coming from the unconscious?
Oh, just in human interactions. If people are telling me about interaction they had, you can, if you're listening with that ear, you can start to get bits from the unconscious just in there. Or it could be more abstract, or people can have little synchronicities in their lives or things they're noticing. I mean, the unconscious is everywhere all the time. So you start listening to it, it'll show up. It's just, the reason why we focus so much on the dream is it is just the clear, you're getting
just right there.
Right there, direct access, unlike anything else. When you're just hearing daily life stories and all of that, you can still get glimpses of it. It's just, it's different than getting the full message.
It's just an unbelievable, giant, it's so expansive. I mean, I can't even imagine how you are able to connect with all of this.
That's the fun of it.
It must be. I mean, I really think that what you do must almost be addicting. Like, I just can't wait to hear more and learn more and find out more about people and the unconscious and
it's so
humanity.
Interesting. Like because you never get to, it's never a dull moment because I never know what's going to be brought to me in any given session. And there's no formula that we can apply. It's such an art of working with a dream, and you have to have not only my own experience of diving into my own dreams and really understanding that terrain, but then of listening to other people's dreams. So many years and years of that, and with the right guidance and with the right help. And then you start to get your sea legs. Then you start to know what's happening. But even then, I'm surprised all the time. Like every session, I have to have that beginner's mind and go, I don't know what they're gonna bring me.
Yeah.
And I've never heard the same two dreams. People might have recurring dreams and recurring themes in their dreams, but no two people, they're not gonna bring the same thing. And even if they bring similar themes, it's going to have their own unique story to it. So there is just, it's so rich and it is so individualized. And that's where the art form comes in.
Yeah. Well, you and I were talking earlier about symbolism, and I think I was asking you about, don't we all have our individual symbols? And you said yes, but there are things that kind of show up that mean kind of the same thing for everyone, but how they play out in a dream is the individual part.
That's right. That's right. That's why I have no problem with people looking at like a dream dictionary or something. They look up like, oh, I had my teeth fall out. What does that mean? The problem is that's not going to take their individual story into account. But like you said, though, that doesn't mean there's not collective themes. So a lot of times when someone is starting a treatment, you might see a lot of common themes. The ones I get a lot is a lot of people being lost, you know, in various ways. Maybe they can't find their car, they can't find their phone's not working, they're in the dark, there's no light. I see a lot of that, and you really see how hard it is for people.
I can see just from that little bit, I mean, it just kind of pulls at my heartstrings, but it makes me know that people are literally lost.
They're lost. They're lost.
I know that this type of work is, as we talked about, it only has that big of a following.
Yeah.
For you to talk about this here, and I'm so proud of you for taking part in this, is there something uncomfortable about how your peers might perceive this? Your peers outside of Dr. Bale's work?
That's an interesting question.
Dr. Bale was shut down constantly.
Yes.
I mean, he was not literally shut down because he kept going, but everybody wanted him to just go away.
I will tell you a story that shows how, I don't know, threatened people are by the dream. So, as you mentioned, I'm almost done with my doctorate. So I had to write a dissertation, a doctoral dissertation. And of course, this is what interests me, but as we know, it's not like there's tons of research out there on this, and you have to pick a topic that is going to work to be able to complete the degree. But I love dreams so much that I was like, okay, how can I include that? And I have a real thing for spiritual dreams, and I'll have that one that I'd love to share.
Yes.
But that kind of guided me into, okay, well, maybe I can write about spiritual dreams. There is plenty of dream research out there, and we can bring in the Jungian perspective on this or whatever. And so my committee and my chair, they were like, okay, sounds great, sounds good. And so I spent over a year putting together a dissertation, writing about spiritual dreams, and every step of the way I had my committee approval, and then I had to submit it to the institution. They wouldn't let me study dreams because it was unscientific, outside of the mainstream. Dreams cannot be studied.
That takes my breath away.
I know. Trust me. Oh, it turned into such a mess. And yeah, I had to start from scratch.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I find that unbelievable.
Isn't it unbelievable? Especially when the whole point of research is to find something new.
Right.
To go outside the mainstream.
We don't have to prove what already exists.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a wild ride.
So did your revision somehow get to have something to do with dreams?
No, they wouldn't allow it. They wouldn't allow it. And to me, I just wanted to complete the degree. I did get to keep the spiritual piece, but they just wouldn't have the dreams.
I mean, it gives me goosebumps.
And isn't it wild that they let me keep the spiritual piece?
Yes, I
but
totally
not
think
the
so.
dream.
I can't even
Dreams
imagine.
are threatening to people.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you have to start to think about them seriously, then all that crazy stuff you've been dreaming means something.
Yeah, right.
That can be scary because you might be dreaming some wild stuff.
And it means that doctors that were, making these decisions for you, they have to start thinking about their entire world differently. And that's huge. I mean, it's consciously and unconsciously.
Yeah, because once you start getting in there, what happens is everything gets turned on its head.
Right.
Right? Like
Right.
everything that you thought you knew about yourself in your life, you have to go, oh my God,
Yeah.
maybe I know nothing.
Right. And what could be scarier?
What could be scarier? Unconsciously, I think people sense that, and it's much easier to go, oh, no, that crazy dream stuff, like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Right. For sure.
When I went through that, I could really relate to Dr. Bale because I know he got that a lot.
And here you are, so thank you.
Yeah.
So this other dream that you're interested in sharing, do you have time now or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is a dream that always makes me very emotional to
Okay,
tell.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I don't have a Christian background, but I had the dream on Christmas and I happened to be in Paris. The dream was that these doves descended straight from the sky, like from the heavens, and they made this diamond formation. and they had these glowing like golden white bellies. And I just knew immediately in the dream, I was like, oh, these doves came straight from God. And they come down, and then all of a sudden there's children everywhere. And these children have the same glowing eyes as the doves. And it's the same thing. I have the knowing that they came straight from God. And they're here to just spread love. And this little boy comes up to me and he gives me a hug. And I'm filled. I couldn't even describe it. It's the most like golden honey, pure love that I've ever felt, that it woke me up right away. And my thought was, oh my God, this is the rapture. Like, I thought I had died. I'd never felt anything like it. It was just so all-encompassing and so pure. And it wasn't until this week, when I was thinking about having this conversation with you, that I thought back to that little boy and realized that his eyes, with that like glowing like the doves, that they were electric blue. And we know who that was.
Mm-hmm. That's Dr. Bale.
That's Dr. Bale.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and that's the higher love. Right? That's the higher love. That dream was like the best Christmas present
I'm
ever.
sure. How long ago did you have that?
I had it in 2019.
Recently.
Yeah, recently.
Have you had any other moments in your life, consciously or unconsciously, where you felt that kind of love again?
This one was so powerful that I have not even had, and I've had some beautiful, delicious, wonderful experiences, like wonderful, and I don't think anything has compared to what happened in that dream. That's how powerful it was. It was truly an experience of coming back to God.
Oh.
It's that ineffable, like I don't even know how to talk about it.
Yeah, well, you've done a beautiful job, and obviously it's so very deep and meaningful. It's
Yeah, I mean, to date, that's the most powerful dream I've ever had, and such further confirmation for me about this work.
Yeah.
And what we're here to do. Because I feel like whether you're spiritual or not, we're all God's children. We all came straight from God. We all came down in that diamond formation, and we came here to love. And we came here to give those hugs like that kid. And we have to find our way to do it. Whatever your purpose is, whatever that way to do it, why don't we spread that love?
Well, and that is one of the most beautiful things about this work is being able to unconditionally love other parts of humanity.
That's right.
Beyond ourselves, we're now capable of helping humanity move along in a loving, supportive direction.
That's right. True evolution.
Yes, and we're not spending our lives protecting ourselves and our opinions.
Yes.
But gracious. Okay, let's say you just boil it down to the basics. If you study your dreams enough, or you write them down, and you then start to remember your dreams, and maybe someone has a dream that is similar to what you've just described in their own arena. I mean, just that little bit alone is such a blessing. Just to have that feeling, to know that kind of love, it takes your breath away.
It takes your breath away.
And I've had a couple of dreams that aren't like yours, but are similar, where I just thought to myself, I cannot believe that I feel this kind of love.
That's right.
And it had to do with being hugged in the most delicious, luscious way. I didn't want it to ever go away. It was so. There's that.
There's that. There's that, and that makes getting through all the horrors in there worth it.
Yes,
right. Because that's what's on the other side.
And you can start to see that is how you can, live your life. I mean, you might not feel that fabulous glow of that love all the time.
24/7, sure.
But it's there.
It's there, and it's driving you, and you know that that's what you're here to do.
Yeah.
Right. And you can come back to it. When that dream was such a gift, because if I ever need it, it's there.
Yeah.
I can go to it. Right.
Right. You can conjure up those
I can conjure
feelings.
it up. Yeah, and I might not have the feeling that strongly, but I just know that it's there.
Yeah.
And I'm reminded of what I'm here to do.
That's
right?
such a gift. And I mean, we are human. We're different than all the other creatures on this earth.
We are.
And this is one of the things or maybe the biggest thing.
Yeah. And we've also made a humongous mess of things. You look out into the state of the world and it's crazy.
It's time to straighten it up.
Wars, genocides, all the violence, the crazy things. Let it happen in the dreams. Let's address it there rather than acting it out in the world. When people get the really scary, horrific, terrible stuff in a dream, I go, thank God, because let's work on it there. Let's put it there so that you don't have to live in hell.
I love that little aspect of it. That's a really good way of putting it, because one wonders how you can stop this from happening, but you focus on it in your dream and you take care of it there before you do harm to each other,
That's
to
right.
our world.
Don't go enact that hell out there, right? Put the fight in the right place. Put it in the right place.
And then we can come to the world with love.
That's right.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I would love to have you back again. There's so many more things to talk about.
Sure, absolutely.
You're amazing and delightful, and I even have so many more questions. And I thought I knew a lot.
Well, we'll have to talk more. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And thank you so much for joining us today. Please join us again as we talk to other fabulous experts.